guys, here for part 2. Jack Frost, part 2. And the way this starts out is scientists unbury the buried antifreeze, and are trying to recreate Jack Frost or revive him, and all plans are failing. And then a janitor comes in and spills hot cocoa into the tank of antifreeze, and what do you know, that's what it needed. Good old Jack Frost and his hot cocoa. Makes perfect sense. But anyways, here we are. And from there, the sheriff from the first one, for some reason, decided to make a comeback for the second movie. And is taking his family on vacation, or at least his wife, not his kid, to a resort in a dry, summery climate. So one would assume that he's learned his lesson, and that's where we're going with this, but no. The hot cocoa Jack ends up out at sea from a drain that he jumped into at the scientist's office. And then from there we see these two guys that are lost at sea, and all they have is a carrot between the two of them. They fight over it, and Jack Frost kills one and the other. Very cheesy scene. Not much else to say about it, other than it was super cheesy. After that, we kind of start getting introduced to the characters for the resort. There's the Colonel, who's Australian, and supposedly some type of colonel. But he's the head honcho of the resort. And then you also have
This time again in Snowmonton, and they want to get away from it all.
It was exactly a year ago that it happened.
And that's why we should be somewhere else for Christmas.
Another beauteous day in heaven, eh?
Welcome to the Tropicana, your last resort before...
which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And then you also get introduced to some of the passengers, which are, there's a few college friends that are basically just there to be sluts and slut shamed, and that's very much what they do throughout the movie. And not much else to say about them until they die. Their deaths are pretty funny. But after that, you get introduced to Captain Fun, and there's, which is one of the staff guys that is in charge of making sure everybody has fun. So, I mean, not an annoying character at all. Just your run-of-the-mill, want to smack them kind of dudes. And Captain Fun, he's his own type of character. You just really, really want to kill him. But by the end of it, you kind of feel bad for the dude. And not much else to say about him. Eventually, you get introduced to Agent Manners again, which is the feds guy from the first one. He got fired and decided to go live on this island, and now he's the security of the resort for, story reasons, I guess. But anyways, after old Jack kills the guys on the boat for the carrot, he says, "Thanks for the nose." Didn't mention that much in the first part. He talks somewhat in the first movie. He talks a lot in this second one. It is a lot. But I don't know, it kind of reminds me of the spiders in what the hell was the name of that movie? Eight-Legged Freaks, where they made noise and it seemed like they talked even though they really didn't. It's kind of the same thing. So let's rewind. We'll go back to the first kill. So the first kill is one of the three slutty chicks, and they're on a beach on an island, and they're sitting around a campfire waiting on boys to show up. So she's like, "I'm gonna go get some charcoal." Not firewood, which is what they're using to burn the fire. She's going to get charcoal. So, of course, after the carrot washes up on shore of this beach, there's old Jack Frost. And there's a whole bunch of charcoal just lined up in a row, evenly spaced, just for this chick. And he keeps trying to drop icicles on her and missing. So after about 4 or 5 attempts, he finally just says screw it and drops a giant ice anvil on her head. Squashes her. One of her friends from the fire decides to go look for her. It's kill number 2. She shows up and she's like, "What happened? Oh no, my friend's been squished." And then icicles come out of the ground, the sand, somehow. One pierces her foot and she falls backwards, dies from impaling on 20 other ones that have come up from the sand. So if he could do that, I don't know why he didn't do that on the first one instead of dropping it from the trees. But we're not here to apply logic where logic doesn't apply, I guess. So, anywho, she dies. Then you get this whole I'm talking to you, ooh, aren't I scary, with this chick at the fire that's the last one standing. And it's very much like he's invisible and they just can't see him, but they can hear him, and then he just pops up. And she's got a pair of tongs, somehow trying to threaten whoever's out there. Well, he ends up grabbing the tongs, sticking them in his face, and then headbutting her, and they're in her eyes. And that's the third death. And it's like maybe 20 minutes into the movie. And that's
The fat lady's warming up.
Jack Frost 2
Are you ready to scream?
from Apex Entertainment.
after that you get a weird scene of Captain Fun in bed. Sorry, had to grab some different paint. Captain Fun in bed with the sheriff and his wife, waking them up for archery practice. Which, you know, I would totally love if I was on vacation and some dude just randomly jumped into my bed. I would fully be okay with that, for sure. Anyways, he wakes him up. It's a very awkward scene. And old Captain Fun just is oblivious to how annoying he is. And that's
Captain Fun!
But there's trouble.
kind of the running theme throughout the movie. But, I mean, the movie itself, like, there's a scene with the snow globe, like, sitting in a living room, and it has a snowman in it, and they, like, close up on it, and he says something smart-assy, like as if he's in the snow globe. So, the movie just kind of does what it wants, when it wants, and you just gotta accept it. Or yeah, that's just it. You just gotta accept it. And from there, we get the model chick and the photographer, which is, I'm assuming, supposed to be a gay man, because they play him like he's a gay man. And he's taking pictures of this girl. And halfway through, he's like, I just don't see any excitement. So she tries to look happier, and he's like, no. Nipples. So he wants hard nipples for his shoot. So, I mean, which I guess is part of the trope. Anyways, Jack Frost hears that, and he's like, ooh, here's my chance, and somehow transports himself into this ice chest into different ice cubes. and she uses one of them to excite her nipples. Sure, I'll get demonetized eventually for that, but anyways, that's what she does. And she doesn't reveal anything, surprisingly. Like, you're still very much PG-13 at this point. So that kind of gave me a little bit of hope for the movie going forward. But, yeah, she ends up drinking some of the ice because she's thirsty and hot. So, right after drinking the ice, her head explodes. Of course. I mean, how else would that end? And after her head explodes and Jack shows up and kills the photographer slowly while taking pictures, because the guy's a photographer, so why not? And
There's something that needs a little Christmas stuffing. Oh yeah, I'm the man.
anyways, after that, it's followed by a scene that has actual nudity into it, which is why I don't understand why they didn't add it into the first part, but whatever. So, in this part, they have a girl about to swim. She is... This is good stuff, by the way. Swimming, and Jack Frost comes, touches the pool, freezes it. She drowns underwater, topless. I mean, that's about that. And then from there you get a couple of dummies that are like, stick your tongue to a pole, and he does, and then Jack Frost rips his head back, ripping his tongue off. Even though he has a warm beer in his hand to pour on it, he doesn't. But, you know, movie logic. And they have a Halloween party trying to catch Jack Frost. But the sheriff has a necklace full of antifreeze. It's a little vial. I don't know what that's supposed to do, but yeah, he ends up pouring it on a snowman that's just an actual snowman and not Jack Frost. And then one of the guys from the resort, the head honcho, the colonel, shows up in a snowman suit, so he hits him, knocks him out, has to apologize. It's a whole big ordeal. Then when they find out Jack's really there, they're going through all their stuff, and the sheriff brought extra supplies. He's got all kinds of stuff, including caulking. Like tubes of silicone caulking. So they all start fighting over the supplies, and everybody's running for the caulking. And I get it, when you gotta water seal something, caulking's your best bet, but I mean, doors and whatever. Anyways, they end up, Jack Frost breaks into a bunch of little guys. They all go around like freaking gremlins, killing people. And they catch one of them, throw him into a blender, try to slushy him, he just pops back like magic, like hee hee. And so they end up throwing bananas and a daiquiri mix in it, and that's what kills him. So then they make a big batch of banana daiquiri mix and go around, and all they gotta do is splash these little snowmen heads with this daiquiri mix, and it kills them. They just explode. And at that point, Manners gets killed by a bunch of these little snowman heads. Again. And yeah, I mean, after that, the movie just kind of ends. There's not a whole lot of back and forth after that. They do a few different things, and they end up saving the day. But I mean, none of it's really worth mentioning. It's just all choosy. And I mean, if you watch the first one, you're probably not gonna watch the second one, because the first one is way better than the second one. So, if you watched the first one and didn't like it, which is probably going to be the majority of people, you're definitely not going to like the second one. Now, we'll say this was a fun movie to do. I enjoyed doing this. I'm going to add to this picture and post it on my reels, my Instagram story, all that stuff. And I want to do more stuff like this where I can actually show you what I'm painting while I'm painting it, instead of after the fact. And I'd like to do some airbrushing videos, but the airbrush is kind of loud, so it would kind of take up most of the sound of the video. So I'm still trying to work out the logistics of that. But definitely want to incorporate more stuff like this that you can actually watch without having to look at my dumb face while I do it. So I will be working on that. I'm going to try and get my camera hooked up to where I can do some videos, let you guys watch me while I watch the videos, and we can all watch it together type of thing. Kind of like old Gunner TV and Moist Critical and Mr. GG and all them. But I definitely don't have the money to pay a team to do it, so I've got to figure out all the crap on my own. And I'm old and not very savvy online on technology stuff. I am not a smart man, so just bear with me. We'll get there eventually. And hope you had a good drink. If you get time, go watch Jack Frost on Tubi. It's if you haven't seen it, it's worth at least one watch. just for fun. And let me do one more color here before I let you guys go. I just want to make sure you guys are satisfied with the picture. The Christmas tree definitely needs work. And I will put the work on and post it on my reels to show you guys. And I may even go ahead and do the airbrushing still. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. But I just want to make sure you guys are satisfied with the majority of the painting. And that is good enough for tonight. And I will see you guys next time. Probably gonna do more of a serious Christmas video. More lighthearted stuff. Back off of the horror. I enjoyed my drink. Hope you guys did too. I will see you next time on Have a Drink and Paint. Like, subscribe. Everything helps. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night.